Welcome and thank you for joining ScotiaLive. My name is Andrea Douglas, Branch Manager, Scotiabank Ligonier, and I'm happy to welcome Jessie Royal and Kandi King to talk about financial planning for couples. When we get into a relationship, we talk about everything, where we grow up, our life goals, our families, but often we don't speak about how we manage money and our financial priorities. Money makes people funny, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you will agree with me. In a relationship, it can be like fuel and fire when there are different values, different attitudes, and different plans. It is important for couples to be on the same page when it comes to money management, saving and investing of funds. Today, to share with us about how they manage their finances, our new parents, Jessie and Kandi. I will also be adding some management tips as we go along and make our way through our conversation. For those of you who have joined us on Zoom and IG Live at Scotiabank Jam, we invite you to send any questions you have on today's topic by typing them in the Zoom or the Instagram live chat. We will do our very best to address as many of them as possible. Kandi and Jessie,
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you for
And
having
before
us.
I
Thank you very
start,
much.
it's burning. How is baby Jessie doing?
Baby Jessie.
Baby Jessie.
Her name is Chorus.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Walking, talking, and like her name says, singing a lot.
Yeah.
Yes? Ooh.
Definitely in that phase.
I think she takes that from you, Kandi. The singing.
Come on now. I mean, yeah, if I'm being honest though, we do workout sessions with her where, we hold
Yeah.
notes, and it's interesting to see her
we
grasp
sing with her a lot.
music the way she is so early. And I mean, we're definitely not trying to
Push her
push
in,
her
yeah.
or have her define herself, but it's just fun to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's a very warm, loving little girl. Her hugs are everything, so.
So the physical features is Jessie,
Well, all
Kandi?
me, all
Oh,
me.
I'm sure Kandi.
All me.
Well,
I'm sure, yeah. And you agree, right,
Yeah.
Jessie?
yeah, she gets some things from, but most of the good looks.
Well,
If we
guess
can be
what?
honest.
We're going to leave that up to the viewers to vote.
Yeah.
I'm joking, but I'm pretty sure he has, a little of both,
Yes.
right,
Yeah,
Kandi?
yeah.
We made sure that happened. So as we said today that, we're so happy to have you on set because we really want to find out some more about you in terms of your finances and to help our viewers to understand
Yeah.
how you get to this point. And so we'd love to ask you, how did you get to know each other financially?
Well, I would say that the pandemic certainly helped us along quite a bit in that department.
Yes.
Because just like you said, prior to the pandemic, we didn't really talk about it much because
Everybody
we
was
just
okay.
didn't. Yeah, we were fine. We just
Yeah.
didn't have a reason to. But in the pandemic now, well, if I'm being completely honest, my income came to a screeching halt because of the industry that I was in.
Yes.
And so we really had to sit down and figure out, okay, how are we going to do this?
How do we balance and maneuver
gonna
through
get
this
through?
space while maintaining the lifestyle that
Yeah.
that we both share, and
Yes.
and because for me, that is also very important. Like Kandi can tell you, I'm not somebody who says let's lower our expectations or lower our aspirations.
continue to live.
Let's raise our expectations. Let's raise, what we require from ourselves to live the life,
Yes.
Like me not depend on the small up thing no time,
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just
Had to
match.
figure out the
Yeah,
balance.
we just have to figure
Yeah.
out how to match the pocket to the mentality and the perception of what we want our life to be.
Okay. So if I hear you correctly, and just to include our viewers, financial planning is important.
Yeah.
Yes. Because setting goals and planning for your future, long-term goals or short-term goals, that's important. There are also opportunities, and I hear Jessie and Kandi just mentioned that, in terms of saving
Yeah.
and also emergency planning.
Yes.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think financial literacy is just like a very understated, under-mentioned topic, separate and apart from couples. But then, as couples now, you are forced into figuring out how to balance this space, because it's no
Especially
longer
with
just an
children,
individual thing. And like you said, before I met Kandi, I used to have certain beliefs where money is concerned, like you said, with even emergency funding, I used to always keep 10,000 US dollars just to have it, just in case anything happened, you know what I mean? And that's something that I think I learned from my mom in a weird way,
Yes.
in the sense of she not having a lot, but always having enough.
Make it happen.
Yeah, always having what is required.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the older you grow, you realize that take planning, because life
course.
comes at you fast. And,
Yeah.
and things, when was the last time anything in life got cheaper?
Exactly.
Right? So every single year things just get more and more
Totally
expensive. So
agree
you have
with
to
you.
kind of make sure you have planned that along with the color socks and shoes you're going to wear, you know? It's also an important conversation.
And I'm pretty sure when mommy was doing it, she wasn't doing it from a theoretical standpoint.
Exactly.
She was just doing it how she knew how.
Right, right.
Yes,
right.
very important. So tell me, Jessie and Kandi, what is your approach actually to managing your finances? What's the approach you take on a daily basis?
Well, currently we kind of split it. Informally, it's like, I would love to formalize that process probably a bit more, but we do have a split. So he manages some things and I manage others.
Okay.
He does most of the bills and I will do most of the food.
And
you
how
know.
do you decide how much to set aside for saving?
I currently have a standing order in place.
Oh, great.
And
From a banker to a customer, great job.
yeah, and it has
Right.
to go somewhere. This is just the way I have to manage money. It has to
Yeah.
go somewhere untouchable for me.
Yeah.
I don't have a card for it. I have no access to it. It goes into some account somewhere that is just being saved.
Yes.
So that's how I manage mine.
Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit more radical approach in terms of managing, because of my industry or save, you know, it's like, so money here, money there, this pops up here. So I used to have like a 15 to 20% rule, you know, because most artists, you would pay that to a management company anyway, or your agent anyway, you know what I mean? That would be their commission, you know? So I kind of just gave my pension a commission, you know, and just kind of looked at it in that way, whereas, all right, this money is money that you don't touch. No, you know, it's money that you don't touch now. And I mean, as we grow and as things get a little better, you can use that as investment money, you know, and then after a while, you know, it pile up, you can, all right, let's do this with that, let's do that with this, let's, you know, go on a little vacation, you know, let's do something else. But we are in industries, I think, that force us to be diligent with our money, because she is her own boss.
Yeah.
You know, I'm my own boss. Nobody manages our money for us. We pay
It's a bit
people.
informal, yeah.
You know, so we have to manage ourselves and get really into the process of, you know, like what everything costs, the taxes, the this, the that, you know what I mean, and ensure that we are in a position to benefit from a system that sometimes isn't really set up for a self-employed individual, you know.
So I'm hearing a lot of being organized around your finances coming out. And so viewers, another tip that we'd love to share with you in terms of organizing your finances is creating a budget to include all of the needs. Bills which will need to be paid, as you heard Jessie and Kandi just mention. How about your children's lunch money? Rent or mortgage to be covered, you need to ensure that's included. Food, transportation, housing, utilities. Add something also for contingencies, because you never know when something will happen.
And
when a pandemic will happen.
Exactly, and I think where couples are concerned is, like we even had this conversation the other day, like just zero ego and honest conversations, because
I love that.
like you say, money can make people funny,
Of course.
you know,
Intimidating,
and also it has made a lot of relationships, and it has broken a lot of relationships. So for me, it's imperative for we just be honest. So even where you see certain things are concerned, okay, I was raised a particular way, I am a certain type of individual. Kandi can tell you, me like just take care of things, take care of responsibilities, but I'm also with a boss lady. So it's important for her to also
independent.
be independent in a sense, and okay, and I didn't tell her that she has to take care of certain things, but it's important for her to, okay, no, Jesse, you deal with that, I deal with this, that, you know what I mean? And this is how we split our responsibilities, which is a very good thing.
It is.
Because sometimes, and I'm just saying this because we live in a world where sometimes it's like, yo, me are the man, or me are the this, or me are the that. And it's a very troubling thing because no, like we're a partnership and we're trying to take this thing as far as it can go and try and build this structure as strong as it can be built, you know. So if me have the water upon my back, you know what I mean, I expect you to, you know, pick the banana then. You know what I mean? But you can't expect me for, you know, come on now, be yourself. You know, I can't expect to carry the water and then because I'm a man, after I'm done carry the water, I gotta climb the angle tree and no, like, you know what I mean? So it's great for me to have this type of balance where it's like we can have honest conversations and you know what I mean, there are times where, you know what I mean, things have to shift up, but you know,
so based
we
on
can
what I'm
speak about
hearing then, Jesse, who manages the bill? Let me see the finger pointing. Okay, so hands down, no doubt. And you just came out in your conversation, you managing the thing, right? Regardless of the fact that you have a boss lady, put the water on your back. And
but she, as me I say, the bills is one aspect, but she manages a lot of other things.
Household.
The household.
Are you good with that, Kandi?
She deals with the nanny, for example, and certain other things, some of the supermarket and some, you know, so. But so
we had a little conversation backstage about the nanny, so I kind of knew that she kind of managed things like that. Yes, kind of keep it close to her. Okay, great. So I'd love for you to tell us then, when did you discuss your earnings and what you would each contribute to your expenses?
Pretty early out, but definitely in the pandemic.
As I said, the pandemic kind of just
brought out a lot of stuff.
Just open things up. It's like,
and you just said, and you Kandi coming out.
It's like, no, you're like, and we had to be
very open about it.
Very open and honest. Like you said, we're both in the entertainment industry,
which was hit pretty hard,
which was hit pretty hard. And
we had to draw for our reserves in the pandemic. And so because of that, we had to have a conversation about, okay, what do you have saved? What do I have saved? How can we make it through this period?
It was a conversation along the way, or you actually had a real sit down and say, come, Jesse,
it was along the way.
Kandi.
It was along the way. It was along the way. We didn't talk about it before, like I said.
Because there was no need. And that's just the reality.
We really should change that. And a part of having these sorts of conversations is to really open up that space and let couples know that you really should talk about it before there is an emergency.
Before an emergency. But take your time. Because me, you know, imagine you meet a girl and just say, how much money you have in the bank? My girl,
no, we're not saying that.
Slow down.
But once things are at a certain level in the relationship, I think it is important to have the conversation about money. And so we were forced to in the pandemic, and we had to discuss, okay, how are we going to make it through this period, you know, with a baby, supporting each other, supporting her, maintaining our lifestyles as much as we can.
On top of me, you want to buy a new car and buy a house in a pandemic.
You did a budget?
Yeah, we
and what did you, tell me some of the things, I want to get a little bit in your business. So, yes, you did a budget. What were some of the things you included in the budget? Or have been included in the budget?
Well, at the time we were renting, so we had to include our rent, the supermarket.
Bills.
Gas.
JPS
and water commission, bills.
What else? I think, what else?
You car payment about house.
Car payment.
But this was after, meaning that, so we were doing the renting thing and then, you know, just as like the pandemic hit and I was like, all right, because like I said, we're in industries that just keeps going. Like there's a party happening every night, there's an event happening, I have a show somewhere in the world every time, so you just keep going. And I know there's a lot of artists that were in that space or are probably still in that space of that type of thinking, but it's like, that was my wake-up call. Say, all right, you don't have a real estate unless you have real estate, if that makes sense.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
perfectly.
So it's like, that it kind of did force me, my brain, and Kandi can tell you, because I'm very frugal to begin with, right? I think since we met, that was...
Kandi, look like she kind of disagreeing there.
No, I spend, but I spend on, like there's certain things, and who know me know say, obviously I like nice things. So there are things, but apart from that, me still like, I can make what them make at the restaurant. I can make it better. You know what I mean? And I'm going to
So
find a
he'll-
cheaper
yeah,
way to
and-
make it.
Jesse's
You know
a
what I mean?
chef, so he'll cook it at home.
Yeah, you know, so, and those are
Good
simple
enough.
ways that I try to save, you know, because even like consuming out, sometimes you don't even realize how much, you know what I mean? It sound like $3,000 now, it sound like $5,000, $10,000 now, but it's like when you
Yeah.
check the month and when you start the taxes and certain things and you start look on what you're spending
Yeah.
and what you're spending what on, that definitely make you drop in
Yeah,
yourself.
food
and
is
say,
one
"All right."
of, food was one of our major expenses that we had to cut
Because
back
you
on.
realize
Yeah.
that you're,
Eating out.
you're spending money.
Yeah.
And when you count it up at the end of the year, trust me, it's
No,
like
it's a whole
you
heap of
said,
money, man. It's
My
a whole
you,
heap.
there's no way them people have to get $2 million
Now what
from
did
me
I
for the
spend
year.
it on?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, or
Yeah.
whatever that figure turns out to be. You know what I mean? It's like so, and those are small adjustments. Like sometimes people think, yo, you have to do this big thing and you have to cut your life and do it. No, it's like
Just the small ones.
sometimes
yeah?
you do some
Start there.
small things and you
Yes.
start seeing how it helps to start
Yes.
shaping up your
Yes.
account. You know.
Okay, great. So I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, but I wanted our viewers to be in on it a little bit more. So what is your backup plan should one of your incomes be lost? Because, you know, COVID kind of creeping back up. I really hope it really doesn't shift things too much. So what's your backup plan just in case a loss of income
Well,
occur?
for the last, I would say about 10 years, I have had a standing order that I had to draw on in the pandemic. I just continued to save, and that's really what saved me in the pandemic. And should anything happen again, I would be able to use my savings from that.
Yeah. So what about you, Jesse?
You can't keep
Same
hustling
kind of
down.
approach?
You can't keep it down. Listen, Mr. Ryan is going to
I'm giving
find
them
a
a
way.
diplomatic answer.
I'm going to find a way. Listen, like, who know me? And like, yo, grow up. Where me come from, Zine?
Yes.
One place called Marintown in St. James. My grandparents on my father's side, my father was actually a soldier. So, you know, the militant mindset comes
Yes.
from him.
Yes.
His parents, they were farmers up till elder. My grandmother still goes and oversees enough things in the farm now. But I grew up in a way where, you have to make things work. You know what I mean? Like, I never grew up with a gold spoon. But what I must say is, I grew up around a lot of goal-minded individuals. Meaning though, even though I never have the gold spoon per se,
Yes.
I grew up around a lot of confident, consistent, intelligent men who could have shown me, okay, this is how the thing go.
Yes.
As you go along, you adjust. But, you know, I definitely give thanks for my mentors because they've definitely helped me to maximize my potential or help my perspective in terms of what is the type of world that you're living in. Is it, you know, but I understand that I shape the world where I live in, you know?
Yes. So you heard it from Jesse and Kandi, their approach to money. And so another tip that we'd love to share with you, you know, is a couple's financial literacy should include personal financial planning. One, creating a budget. That's very important. Setting goals and managing debt. Know how your beliefs about money impacts your decision. And I want to play a little game again. So, who is more likely to splurge? Let's see the fingers pointing. You know each other
Easily.
so well. Yes?
And this is what she has splurge fund. It's just some, you know, but I mean, she's allowed because she works super hard. So that's why we're not even really.
It's just clothes.
That's as about it. I never want to say it. I never want to say it to make it look away. But in all honesty, my girl, them two back there never cost so much money. But it is what it is, you know?
So are you a YOLO kind of girl?
I am a YOLO responsibly type of girl. I think
Okay.
I'm an aspiring YOLO type of girl. I
Okay.
can't just all out YOLO just yet. I have to be doing it.
And you think chorus might have changed that? Were you a YOLO kind of girl
absolutely.
before?
Well, I think I was more carefree before because you have less responsibilities. But
Yes.
now, literally having another life that you have to support, you have to be more responsible.
Yeah.
How about you, Jesse? You're on the YOLO wagon
You know,
as well?
you will splurge too. I don't want
No,
I
yeah,
don't
no,
want
no,
you
no,
to
no,
feel
but I'll
like, feel
splurge
like
on
it's me
certain
alone.
things. So, no, no.
What splurge is splurge?
So, yeah, no, but I'll splurge. Relax. So what? So what?
Oh,
You have to know the
okay.
time. Right?
Okay, yes.
You have to know
yes.
the time.
Right.
What may I say though is, so I have a 5-year-old daughter that lives in Norway,
Yes.
right? So you can imagine, so for me, it's like I've always had to be like, all right, make sure them all right, make sure.
Yes.
So even leading into chorus coming about, I think I kind of already had the mindset of like, yo, things have to be in place. You know what I mean? Because
Important, yes.
yeah, it's your responsibility.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
all on
Like
you.
she says, it's nobody else in the world's responsibility. Should your daughter get to the age and she says, Daddy, I want to go to Yale or what the next school that what?
Princeton, Harvard.
No man, the black school in Howard. Right. You know what I mean? Should she want to go? Yeah, I just feel like, you know what I mean, I should be in a position to say, of course, you know what I mean? Yeah, so them little thing that kind of is like...
They humble you.
Yeah, they humble me. And like, it's a trigger for me more time in the sense of not being able to deal with things that need to be dealt with. You know what I mean? So I have a little fear in my head, and I guess that motivates me to make sure there's certain little things in place.
Always have something put aside, yeah.
Don't want to be that guy.
Okay. So which of you would you say is more focused around money management? Yeah? Why you point on yourself,
No, I mean,
Jesse?
we're both focused on
Yeah, but why are
money
you saying you're
management.
more focused?
Because I think I get that role to play in the household
Okay.
in terms of, you know, she gives me,
Naturally,
she gives me the ability and me just naturally as a man think is important for
But
ensure
also,
that-
it's one of your strengths. It's
yeah.
something that he does well, and so, yeah, go right ahead. Why?
Yeah, take it on, yeah?
Yeah, that's no
Yes,
problem.
I try. Thank
Yes.
you. You know,
Is this something that you think you would have learned from your parents, whether mommy or daddy?
Yeah, I definitely like have experiences. Like my father is a story where I think I told you to like when I was in high school.
Yes.
So the great Digicel just a come to Jamaica. Right? What is like 2001, 2000 few?
2001, I think.
Right, round about that time. Everybody and them grandmother have a 3310. So me I say, but this look like it fit me too. Why you don't have a 3310? So I said, Daddy, you know, look what this thing here. You can play snake, you can send messages, you can call me if you need to get to me. I remember saying before, cell phones there about, but it wasn't as accessible. So Digicel literally came and made people feel like, yo, you can have one too. Anyway, go down a Sovereign, downstairs, beside the game arcade. What a place the name? Innovative something? Right. Go down there, see the phone, and I said, Daddy, this phone, blah, blah, blah. Man say, yeah, man, what you mean the phone that fit you? I say, yeah, this is what I want to hear. Man say, all right, how much for the phone? Phone was, call it $4,000 or whatever at the time, $5,000. So him say, all right, so you get $500 a day. See, so 5 is 25, 25 times 4, that's what, 10? All right, so you're getting 10 grand for the month. The phone costs XYZ. How much days are you willing to go without to be able to afford the phone? And that is a lesson what it stick with me forever. You know, everything costs something.
Right.
You can attain it, but how much are you willing to give up to get? You know, and that's always been a conversation I have with myself when I purchase anything.
Yes.
It's like, all right, how much are you willing to give up? You know, can you go?
So you're very measured around
Yeah.
it.
Right, so can you go 2 weeks without going out? You know, Kandi can tell you, like, if we go hard, they say, I don't want to go nowhere, I drink water. The coconut there at the tree, me don't want nothing, but even want tea, don't give me the sugar in my tea, I'll drink the tea there. That's how me, like, just mentally, like me say, them thing they kind of, you know, so that's how
Because our parents have really influenced our behaviors around money.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
That's very good to hear
us, yeah.
because, you know, we sitting on this side looking through your lives, you know, we're thinking, oh man, these are YOLO kind of people that splurge
no,
every
no,
day.
no.
No
We have
saving,
fun,
no
you know, I'm not gonna
focus,
say.
no
Yeah.
measure. Of course.
Yeah, we have
of
fun, you know.
course,
But like me
certainly.
say, you want to be able to have fun knowing say it's not drain your account.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a little bit more fun that way. You know?
Yes.
If you don't have a think about certain things after.
Yeah.
But and meet her, when I met her, she has a very solid group of friends who are also stable individuals, which I think is a very good thing for couples to also have other couples that you can identify with.
Yes.
Like Jen and Neil have some open conversation. I'm sorry for calling people's names, but them have
I'm sure
open
they won't
conversation. Yeah, they have open conversations with us, and sometimes me and Kenny say, "Oh wow, like we have to have those conversations too."
Yeah.
So as me I say, having that support system
Like-minded
around you, because
people.
there's a lot of couples out there who are genuinely pressured, but them don't have an outlet, meaning that they don't have anybody that can say, "Yo, you know, so we did go through that too,
And here's what we did, yeah.
Yeah, here's
Right,
what
so
we
they
did, or
can
we have those
identify.
days too, because like you said, money make people funny, and we speak about everything else. Apart from that, it's like in a school. Them all want teach you, you know what I mean? Them want force you to wear a brown shoes or a black shoes in a Jamaica and tell you how you have to cut your hair and how you have to this, and not teach the youth them nothing about finances. Blows my mind.
That's
so you're
true.
telling me that how I look is more important than my ability to govern my finances in the future? You're kidding me, man.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. So there you hear it, guys. Very interesting conversation coming out of Kandi and Jesse. And we just wanted to share another tip with you in terms of the vision when it comes to financial matters. And 3 points that we want to bring home to you. It's shared. Each person contributes to the monthly shared cost. So that's an approach that you can take, you know, in terms of, you know, dividing the financial expenses. Looking at combined incomes as well, where both incomes deposited into a joint account. Some persons will opt to say, no, I want to keep my things separate. You keep yours, you keep yours. You know, some persons it works very well for them.
Yeah.
And going Dutch, where all finances are kept separate and the bills are actually split right down the middle. It works wonders.
Oh, that's an
for
actual
some
term,
person.
going
It
Dutch?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you go out and you're having a drink, or you
Yeah.
or you and your friends having dinner, and you say, "Oh, let's go Dutch."
go Dutch,
You
yeah.
know, so we just.
Oh no, man,
kinda-
me not there on them tables. Me and my brother, them is either me a deal with it or
Is
you
that-
a deal with it. We not like this.
So you're planning from the outset, or when you get there, you
No, no,
just
no.
kind
Meaning
of,
say me-
all right, you pull out your credit card and your
You know.
Scotiabank credit card and say, here
Right,
it
no,
is.
my youth, them we not split no bill.
Yeah?
We not depend that. That
Okay.
You know, but
So
I mean,
you
I think
decide that
is
you're
just
going
a-
to foot the bill while you're there,
Yeah, but
or
I think
before
that's
you
just
get there.
male camaraderie, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got you.
It's that thing where it's like, you know, and that's all right too.
Yeah. How about you, Kandi? You know the term, right?
Yeah, I do know the term,
Yes.
and me and my friends go Dutch all the time.
Of course,
Okay?
and it's a
All
very
the
good
time,
way
and
of
it's quite fun.
saving.
So
Yes.
wife will be a
Fine.
man. You're going to drink one Guinness, $50,000.
So I'm pretty sure somebody somewhere is dying to ask you this question. So I'm going to be the first one to ask you. Do you have a joint account or separate bank accounts?
Separate.
Yeah, we have separate
bank
We
accounts.
don't have a joint bank account.
And
yet.
any particular reason why?
I think we just haven't gotten
just-
around
yeah,
to it.
we
But I
just
think
haven't
the other
gotten
day we
around
were
to it.
discussing
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
a family account.
Right.
Meaning something that we just top up randomly, and have that there for, you know, probably, we want to go
Things
Hawaii.
related to chorus
we want,
and
you know, chorus and
vacations
blah, blah,
and-
blah.
yes.
Like, you know,
Yes.
so I think that will be the first joint account that
Account
we
that
have.
we
But
do.
right now, we
haven't done
manage
it yet.
finances separately.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, we're going to change that. So you're going to come on down to Scotiabank and you get your joint
Yes,
account set
yes.
up.
Yeah, well, if I think more come down to Scotia for you. You can start this if you want.
Of course. And I hear you mention something about the Hawaii and the vacation. How do you decide who pays for what?
I think she
Well,
organizes it.
Yeah, I'm
and
a planner.
Yeah,
in
she's
the
a
sense
planner.
Of I will plan the trip and
Yes.
the outings, excursions, and what we're gonna do.
And I put value in that.
He will
in
give
term-
me the budget
Yes.
that we're working with.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but I
So
put
he doesn't ask you what's the cost. You just put a budget to it. 'Cause I
no.
No,
She'll
he
ask
will
me
set
for
the
a budget
budget.
first.
Okay.
and
He
will
I'll-
set the
and-
budget.
Yeah, but she's super good. But what I was going to say is, like, in situations like that, I don't weigh one role.
Because
Like
I
the-
always contribute to them too.
Right.
So it's not
for
like
her-
he's
for
paying
her
for it
organi-
independently.
For me, and who knows me, and even anybody, like, organizing is not one of my strong
No,
points. So
no,
I value that she does that. So I'm
no,
like, listen, let's get it together, and me with
And
deal
just
with
let me know
whatever.
how much
You know,
it
just
is.
let me know
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay,
But that
okay.
is something that also
But-
makes it easier, because I know that she's already looking for the best flights, looking for the best whatever, like, you know what I mean? And
You know, she's
figuring out-
pretty responsible with
But
Yeah,
it
man,
is
super.
also important
Yeah.
to note that I am or I pride myself on being very independent as well. So as
Yeah.
much as I let him take the lead on certain things financially, I
Yes.
never let him do it alone.
Yeah.
I never let him do it alone.
Yeah.
And so whatever I can contribute, I will contribute.
Yes.
And even though it may be informal, you know, it's not like, okay, we're going to split it this way and that way. I always make
No,
it
yeah,
a
yeah,
point
she
of
will.
duty
She
to say,
will.
okay, here's how much I'm going to give you for this.
Or she'll plan a dinner, or she'll do some
or
other things. You know?
or I pay for something else around the trip or
Yeah.
another time
Got
or
you.
something else. But we always find a
Just-
way to
just-
balance it back,
yeah.
you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
great, great. So that's kind of bringing the synergy together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say
And
that.
not to
that's-
make you fall apart. So you look like you have a good thing going.
Yeah, I think that is more
So-
of a synergy thing.
Yes.
Like also in the couple, we're here to enhance each other.
Yeah.
Not
Right.
and like I said, I met a boss lady.
Yes.
Now my personality is a little bit different, but I still have to honor that in her. Meaning,
Right.
and I can't take away her independence, like she
Yes.
said, you know. So we find ways to balance it. Even if she tell you sometimes we fight, and say no, and she's like,
I
you
want to
can't
do it.
tell me not
Yeah.
to pay for this, you know, like blah 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 or whatever, you know. And
Great.
sometimes as a man that feel good to sometimes. You know?
Of course.
You know, say,
Right? I don't
you
want
just
my
go
back.
on like, you sure? You sure? You sure? All right. Because it was, all right.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
but
take out
I
your
do
Scotiabank
enjoy
card.
that sometimes to know, say, yeah, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, me have a
Yes.
general beside me, not
Yes.
I don't have a dependent individual beside me, you know, and
Awesome.
that is definitely like strength, like, you know, it
It
makes me
is.
very confident even in a certain other ways and certain other things,
Yeah.
you know?
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Tell me, do you have an emergency fund set up? So both of you decide that, hey, no matter what's happening,
I'd say
this
we
is
do.
our emergency fund. So however, wherever you have it, I'm hoping you
Yeah,
have it at
yeah.
Scotiabank.
Yeah.
Do you have an emergency
So,
fund set up?
wherever you have it, or but Scotiabank. Definitely,
but
you
we
know,
have-
Scotia is
Family
where
for us,
it is
yeah.
for us. You know what I mean? Just in terms of we and how we travel, it's like you can't
Yeah.
use something where you can't use in Finland because, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think we have an emergency fund. I won't lie, there's 1 and 2 times where you did have to dip in it, but we
Yes.
make sure we tap it back up
Replenish.
and keep that
Yeah.
separate from everything else, you know?
Okay, great. So I wanted to touch a little on goal sharing and some things that you'd want to consider when we're setting goals. So very important, identifying top priorities. So what's very important? Long-term career and prospects and goals. So is this something that's very important? Is this something that I'd want to embark on now? Very important that you consider that. What about supporting other relatives? Perhaps you may have an aging parent, you know, that you have to care for. Jesse mentioned earlier, you know, that he has a 12-year-old. Is it, Jesse,
No,
how old
five-
is a
five- yeah,
five?
five-year-old,
Forgive me.
yeah.
You know, so other relatives are coming into play here in terms of, you know, when you want to share your goals. Managing different attitudes towards saving and spending. And our couple here this afternoon seem to have mastered and is mastering that art.
I think it's
Congratulations.
still a
It's how
work in-
it
It's
feels
still
like work in
mastering.
progress.
always a
Of
work in
course.
progress.
Feels
I think,
like
Of
you know?
course,
progress.
because goals shift,
Yeah.
things
Goals shift,
change,
Yeah.
the economy
conditions
shifts,
change,
the things that we
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, the things that we invest in sometimes, you know, like things change, and I try to, you know, do my little Bloomberg reading and you check in with certain other things. What's the other little thing when you introduced me to the other day? Little
Flipboard.
flipboard, you know what I mean? Just stay up
Just to
on
stay
finances,
abreast with
you know,
what
like,
is going on in the
because
financial world.
That's something that's also like important. Is like you can't just know and say the Boston Celtics are play the Golden State Warriors tonight. Like you still got, you know what I mean? What is the exchange rate, youth? You know what I'm saying? Like what is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those things are also important. So even this conversation is so important because our generation
yeah.
our youths like have to know, so like in a weird way, this is an opportunity for things shift again.
Yes.
Like there was a period where even if you hear some people's stories with how hard it was to really change or elevate from your situation. You know what I mean? Now we have all the knowledge and information available to us.
Yeah.
Whether you have $1 million, you have $10,000, you know what I mean? Like you have representatives at Scotia that you can sit down and talk to. You have investment people that can say, okay, here what?
course.
Like, make we plan this for the next 5 years. So I just want the youth them like understand, say, yo, you know when money become like, all right, like somebody tell me one time, I got share it with them. Like I was young, and I say, yo, I don't care about money, kind of money, man, blah blah blah. Man say, listen, you see that attitude is going to make you have to think about money for the rest of your life. Man say, respect it now, understand what it is, understand the game, and then you can say whatever you want after. But don't not know the language and then go on like you want to talk about it. Man say, if you don't understand the language of money, you can't speak about it. You see me? I say, so that was another thing that has stuck with me, like learn it, understand the game, and then you figure out how you're going to maneuver through the space. But don't shy away from it, which is why I say sometimes even the whole banking process sometimes is intimidating for people. I know a lot of people want me have to boost them up for be like, yo, no man, like you can't go into the bank.
Right.
It's not only millionaires walking at the bank, and it's not only brown skin, like you can go, you can go talk to somebody.
You'll have
go
somebody
make a
to
friend.
walk you through the process.
Yeah, like you know, Scotia, when me walking at Scotia, yo, everybody on the floor and me a bridging. Why?
Yes.
Because this is you guys' space and una my information. It's like if we go to a concert now,
Correct.
you have to come talk to Jesse Royal.
Of course.
In my arena, but you know,
Yes,
I think it's important for the youth them just understand, say, yo, like, don't make them trick on it, yo, like, finance is like money, and wealth belong to una too.
No, and I'm so happy you mentioned that, because this is a great segue into asking you, how do you plan together for big goals? So like purchasing of a car, a house, how do you plan together for
Well,
that?
I'm happy to report that we actually just bought our first property.
Congratulations.
And we are being mortgaged through Scotia.
Yes.
This is not an ad. They did not ask me to say this.
This is just reality.
This is real.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was just saving. Lucky for us, the industry that we're in, you know, sometimes you have money, sometimes you don't have money, sometimes you have money. And when we did get money, we decided that we would put it towards this goal that we had.
Okay.
Or a portion of it anyway. And so we just continued to do that until we were able to make a deposit and get through.
And if we're being honest, like Andrea Shem, and there's a couple individuals at Scotia that
individuals at Scotia that really
develop
helped us
our
along.
confidence.
Yeah, because we have a relationship with them.
Right.
That has been so important, like having a relationship
having
with somebody at the bank.
Yes.
They'll let
my
you know,
God.
all right, you know, you're eligible, you know, you
Yeah.
can do this, you know,
This is how you do it.
This is, and because when you're standing from the outside, it's like, where do I even begin?
Yeah.
Because you can't walk up in one complex and say, sir, you know, more the house there?
Yeah.
No, you know
That's
what I mean?
not how it works.
That's not how it works, you know. So as me I say, it's like just having individuals on the inside that can
course.
help to simplify the process for you was definitely a
But,
big part
thank
for
you.
us.
But the answer to that is saving. There's just, I know there are people who just have money or get money in whatever way and can just put on a house. But for us, it was a goal we had to actively work
A
towards.
deliberate
Yeah,
approach, yes.
and it took a while, and we had to save, and you know, so that's just the way we had to do it.
Well, Jesse and Kandi, we were so happy we were a part of that partnership.
No, I don't think we could have do it without it, you know. So like youths out there, like, let's go up there, go have a conversation. Even
Yeah,
if them
of
tell you,
course.
say, yo, do this and that and fall back in a year or two, because don't make them tricky. Like the other things, them is cool,
Yes.
but real estate is the real thing. You see me? I say, so
Yes.
make sure you get, cause one thing them saying, God, you know, you have new fruits grow on the tree every day, you have animals and birds and the rivers, but God stop make land.
Oh.
So you better try get peace while you can.
Of
You
course.
understand?
And I want to ask you this question, because a lot of persons tend to shy away from it. In terms of retirement, are you thinking anywhere along that line now, as it is?
Will I ever retire?
Well, if I'm being honest with you, I don't have. I did, but I stopped it in the pandemic.
Okay.
The fund that I was putting towards the retirement, I had stopped because when I stopped earning, I was like,
You have to
I
use what
have
you
to
have.
use what I have, and I have to pause that. So I intend to start it back, but I had been doing it all along. I had been doing it all along.
Yeah. I do think about retirement, but in my field, like the work that I do and everything else that we're doing now, you know what I mean, like, is for the future. Ensuring that we have all avenues for revenue set up and in place so that, you know, down the line,
Continues to earn.
Yeah,
down the line, we
Yeah.
aren't trying to fight with people and battle and pay lawyer fees to get back what already
The one good thing
is ours,
about
you know?
being in the entertainment industry, about being an entrepreneur, is that we don't have to retire at 65.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
From
We
as
don't
long as
have
the body
to-
carries.
yeah,
Yo,
as long as
from my
the business is
obstacle,
making money.
yeah, flick.
But as long as the business is making money, we're going to continue to, be in the business. Of course, at some point, we're going to want to stop. But like I said, we don't have to at a certain age.
Well, what about big ticket spends? Do you, just go out and do something without consulting each other, like on a big ticket item?
No.
Oh, no, never.
So even though, like, me, because of the family and the
we
growth,
have to consult.
So I'm changing the car, I have a sedan, but now we need an SUV. But it's definitely a conversation that we had to go back and forth, because in my head I'm like, yo, you think we should just buy two, you know what I mean? And she's like, no, probably we should get one.
Yes.
Let's work, work with one. And I say, all right, but the one that gonna cost me, blah, blah, blah. But as me say, it's just having that space though to have those honest and open conversations, because they have to be had, you know what I mean? To really ensure that we are aligned, we're on the same page, you know what I mean? No doesn't mean I hate you, you know what I mean? No doesn't mean I hate you, no means, okay, is there another way we can go about achieving this particular goal?
But we always have to have a conversation about it before we make a decision.
And that's important. Okay, so I know a lot of persons at times, want to also shy away in terms of speaking about debt, dealing with it if you have it. Some persons will say, no, I don't want to have this debt because, oh no, that's bad. In your opinion, what are your thoughts about debts?
Well, I'm of the opinion that not all debt is bad debt. I was not paid to say this. But I took out a business loan with Scotia a couple of years ago, and that was really what afforded me the opportunity to expand my business and to go into other streams of income. I operate in the carnival industry. I had a carnival concierge, and that got people to carnivals around the region, and I got this wonderful idea to start doing accessories, and that was what funded that dream. And now the accessories are doing even better than the original business itself. And I was able to fund it through taking a loan. And so that was probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made. But I'm not afraid of debt. And I think using the bank's money is always better than using your own.
I wouldn't say always, but there's times where it is definitely the better bet,
decision,
And I'm going to counter that. It's always, because how you manage it, it's very important, and that's the critical aspect of it. And that's where we come in as bankers. And you mentioned it earlier, where you have someone sitting down with you, going through the crossing the dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and making sure that you're connecting all the dots in the right places. So again, happy to partner with you on that. And Candice, congratulations on your business, and actually sharing that story. We have a lot of those stories where customers will come in and say, oh, I'm drowning, and sometimes they don't want to physically come in, but just by having a conversation with them on the phone and, just reviewing, their records, you'll spot the opportunity to say, hey, it's time for me to speak with Andrea, because some things, the red flags are there, not going in the right direction. And so what we usually look at is what we call a debt consolidation. And, to our viewers, as Kandi said, debt is not always bad, but when we see that you're not making any good steps, any significant steps, like paying down the amounts on time, and you're shifting around money, so you're taking one loan to kind of pay down another one. Exactly. In terms of your credit cards, the limits are very close. Your balance is very close. This is time now when we as bankers step in and say, no, let's try to help you. So what we can look at is a debt consolidation loan, where we take all of those debts that you have, bring them under one umbrella, give you one interest rate, one payment, perhaps a longer term that is more manageable for you. And I've seen that played out a lot of times. Gives us a great feeling when we can reach out. A lot of that also happened during the pandemic where we were able to go, to the assistance and partner with our customers in terms of getting them back on the right track.
I think just even as a Rasta man, I think they're important, meaning that, because you want your customers to win. You know what I mean? I don't think you want them to fail. So it's like showing some sort of humanness in this big monster system
Of
is
course.
important.
Of
You know?
course, of course. Okay. All right. So, wow, intriguing.
Yeah.
I love the stories. And as I say, I would never imagine, coming from Jesse and Kandi, that you actually have real life situations that you really sit to share,
Yeah.
with our viewers. I'm pretty sure someone out there is connecting and identifying with these stories that you're sharing.
Yeah, we hope so, because I think we're just like
Ordinary people.
like I think we're just dedicated to helping,
Yes.
like developing our like generation of youth,
Yes.
because Jamaica is just like, I don't even know how to say it. It's like we're such a blessed place with so blessed people that sometimes just undervalue themselves and the potential of their life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like, however we can just make some people feel stronger, more confident, like you say, to take on the world, because you have to take risk,
Of course.
You see, if she never take no risk, trust me, right now,
Yeah.
you understand, her
Yeah.
dreams would be a crisp. You understand? So it's like, even her mentioning, like, listen, not all debt is bad. That's
Yes.
important for some people to hear,
Of
because there's a
course.
lot of people out there with dreams right now
Yeah.
that,
Probably
And-
didn't even realize that they could have taken out a loan.
you know, them
so-
now move on it because them feel like, yo, I can't find $100,000 or me I go whatever. But it's like, yo, there are things in
There are
place.
options,
yes.
Yeah, there's options, you know what I mean? And so what if you go pay them back $150,000? You know what I mean? The reality is that you're getting capital to move and operate right now.
One of the most
Use
important
it.
things about that is, like we said, have a relationship with somebody at the bank. Like that has really helped in understanding what options are available for small businesses, for entrepreneurs. So
Great,
Yeah.
great. Loving the conversation, Jesse and Kandi. And, you touched on it earlier in terms of teaching the younger generation. And so another tip that we'd love to share, with our viewers is use allowances and goals to teach your children about earning, saving, and spending money.
Yeah.
Talk to the older ones about investing, because a lot of time, coming from the old school, no, you think you just can ride it along,
Yeah.
but, ensuring that you're investing. So teaching,
Investing.
imparting, advising, counseling, all of those things come into play will help the next generation behind us,
Yeah.
to be better off. All right, so this has been a very invigorating and enlightening discussion. And I'm sure
Time
some
flies,
persons, yes, but guess what? You're not going to get away scot-free, because persons out there want to ask you some
Oh,
questions.
is that right?
Yes, so now we're going to go to our
And
viewers.
tell them financial questions, not about my skin routine. Please.
You're not gonna tell them
So
what
we're
that-
going to invite our questions now from our viewers. All right, so here we go. How did you decide it was time to afford a baby?
Well, I think the baby decided it was time to afford.
That sounds very accurate. I think the baby decided that it was time.
I need you to keep this for when Chorus gets older.
Yes. Yeah, she will know. She will know.
If we're being completely honest, it was baby first and planning after, and
Yeah,
that is
man.
just the whole truth.
Yeah.
That is just the whole
Yeah.
truth. We
Baby
just had to
first,
figure it
planning
out.
after.
One thing we didn't know, the baby was not going to starve,
Yeah.
so we had to get it together, and we did. So to answer that question, we did not decide that it was time. The baby decided that for us, and
Okay.
we had to kind of after the fact just cut back where we needed to cut back and make it work for her.
Yeah, and I love them need, right? Food, nourishment. The good thing we live in Jamaica.
Yes.
You know, you can still pick a mango from the tree.
Absolutely.
So my mentality was like, listen, it will happen.
Yeah.
See, if we have cut the dumpling in half, it's gonna happen. See what I'm saying? But
We've never had to do that.
Yeah, definitely not. But I mean, just the mentality in terms of, okay, this is here, whatever it takes
Yeah.
to make it work, we're gonna make it work. Like, you know what I mean? This.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So from your real life experience, what percentage of income should you use? Or, it's comfortable to use as an emergency fund?
Go on, Mr. Budgeter.
Well, for me, I would take, 15, 20% of everything you get. So meaning if you get $1,000, you put on $200. You know, you get 10,000, you put on the 2,000. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to change it depending on the amount of money. You know what I mean? Like, we just have a standard thing and know, say, all right, this go here, because what is an emergency? See?
Exactly.
You can't define an emergency. An emergency might mean you need one private jet for go Kazakhstan.
It depends.
See what I'm saying? Like,
Depends
that
on your
maybe they think
standard.
every emergency I go to just hospital. You know? So, yeah, I try for not, you know, like it's just a thing where you just go on,
Yes.
do. Hopefully it's never needed,
Yes.
in all honesty.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's never needed, but it's just...
I'm less formal with it. I put aside what I can when I can.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And that's a good approach as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. Okay. Here's another question. I'm thinking of getting a credit card as well. How should I apply and what are the benefits?
That sounds
So,
like a question for Andrea.
of course. And we have a suite that you can, you know, take from. It all depends on what it is that you want. So if you're talking about rewards, if you're talking about
Flight,
travel,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're talking about mileage, you're talking about cashback, you're talking about low interest rate. You know, we have a suite that you can always pick from. And what I'd encourage you to do is, guess what? It's right on your fingertips. You can actually go online, and there is a tab where you can apply now.
Yeah. And I what I've learned, because I'm just getting in that process, and it's just about learning what is what are your needs, you know what I mean, and understanding how things like this help to develop your financial identity.
Yes.
Because that's what a lot of people don't know. Like, cash is nice and cash is king in a certain things, but in terms of your financial identity,
Yes.
in being able to access a mortgage, being able to access a car loan with a good rate, being able to access certain things, you know what I mean, you need to take your time and develop your financial identity. So if you go buy, you know, just there's little things you can do. If you don't say I spend $30,000 on groceries,
Right.
or blah, 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 use the card and then put back the money right away.
There goes my banker.
Yeah,
Here's another question coming in for you, Kandi and Jesse. You say you are frugal with your spending. How do you stay within your income and still afford the luxuries?
Well, I would say a big part of that for us is definitely the type of income that we get. So like I said, it's kind of in waves, and so we know how we're living, we know our budget for the month, and whenever there is a surplus,
Yes.
which a lot of times there is,
Yeah.
we are able to use that surplus, put some in savings, and use the rest too.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're still frugal individuals. So if you
Yes.
get what I said, whenever we do step out, it's almost like it don't even scratch nothing, because
Right.
we could have did that 10 times ago, but we did 10 more months of saving before we made that one
Yes.
purchase, you know?
And as much as I know Jesse would want to answer this one, but I think this one is for me. I need a car too, but don't know if I'll ever be able to afford my dream car. What do I need to qualify for a car loan, and how do I know how much I can afford? And the answer is simple. You need to visit any Scotiabank branch that's convenient, or you may go online. Simple math, we're going to look at your income, we're going to look at your expenses, and we're going to decide, okay, what is the car that you say? You want a BMW, you want, you know, whatever it is that you want. Perhaps what you want is not necessarily what can happen at this point in time, but will certainly help to get you there.
And it's still achievable. Like, that's like, the house we've purchased isn't our dream house, but it is a step towards. You know what I mean? And that's important for people to know. It's like, you don't need to buy your dream one time, brother. Like, you don't have to buy your dream car one time. Like, I waited 2 years before I bought my car, because I had that mentality. Meaning I could have bought a Corolla 2 or 3 times before I did buy my car, but that's not what I wanted. But I was disciplined enough to know, say, all right, for them 2 years, my little brethren have taxi, me and him a friend. You see me, I say, and me, or whatever. You know what I mean? Or may I use my mother car, or may I whatever. You know what I mean? While I save though. You know what I mean? While I save towards my dream.
Yes, yes. And this question is coming in. When should I start saving for retirement? And how much should I save?
Yesterday.
The answer, thank you. You hear my bankers? Yesterday. I was going to say right now, but yesterday can never be too early. Yes, and how much should I save? Kandi would have said it earlier, you know, so you kind of look at what your income is and how much you can really set aside comfortably in order to get you there. How did you get into entertainment?
Oh gosh, mine was completely by accident. I was made redundant by my corporate job, and I had started the carnival thing, but it was only meant to be supplemental to my corporate income. I just thought, oh, if I could help a few people get to carnivals, I could make some extra money. I had no intentions of leaving the job to do this full time, but the job had intentions of leaving me. So that's exactly what happened. And while I was applying for other jobs, I continued to work on this thing, and eventually I was like, you know, I still don't have a job, and this thing is earning me money, so I just continued to pursue it. I actually did take on, I went back into corporate after, and then after a while I was like, you know, I don't need this anymore. I think I'd be okay, you know, trying it out for a while. I mean, I have my degree, so I always knew if it didn't work out, I can go back into the working world. Yeah, so I had a backup plan. But yeah, it was completely by chance. I didn't intend for it, but after a while, I just kind of took the dive, took the plunge.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And here's another, I think we have time to take another one in. How bad is it if I don't pay off my credit card every month? So the rule of thumb is, as you spend, important thing is, as you spend, you pay back. You don't have to pay $1 in interest, you know, if you clear your balance every single month before the time comes for it to be paid. So very important.
The secret.
Yes, man. So as you spend and you know you're able to, then you know that if you see you're heading into some problems, then make sure that you contact us at Scotiabank.
And still don't spend what you don't have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you said, the credit card is not, sometimes people think is imaginary money, but it's not. It's still
a short-term loan.
Yeah, it's still right. It's a short-term loan, but
to
like
be paid back every month.
Right. You know, but the trick is you pay back every month on time, and you don't pay any interest. You know, and you get to develop your financial identity, like we say.
Exactly.
In America, you hear them talk about credit scores and blah blah blah. We have credit scores in Jamaica. People just don't know until you have to sign a document and say, all right, we're going to check on your credit down at this place here, you know?
Yes. All right. And TK Dawkins from Zoom, we're going to take this one from you. How do you go about investing and making your savings work for you as a couple? So how do you go about investing and making it work?
You can talk about investments that you have made, but I am currently investing in myself and my business. So a lot of what I am doing, I mean, I have been seeing returns on my investment, so I continue to invest in what I am doing. Just right now, that's just where I am. He has done some investments.
You know, I try to diversify, but I mean and she that's her rule, meaning say
every time I have extra money, I'm like, it's going back in my business.
But I see it, you know what I mean, and I see the growth, you know what I mean. So, and she should be able to do that carefree in terms of she should be able to reinvest in her business. For me now, I think I do the diversifying and money here, money there,
stocks
here, some crypto over there, sir, some watches around there, sir, and some little thing, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's try and see if we can take another one here, Jessie and Kandi. And this is Tesha from Instagram. How early should you start discussing money and share your income?
How early should you start discussing money and sharing your income?
Well, like you said, immediately is a bit intimidating.
Yeah, immediately is a bit intimidating. And you, if I'm going to be honest, you go looking at the mirror and you ask yourself, is this a forever or is this tonight? See? So, you see, when you answer that question within yourself, you will know how serious this conversation needs to be.
And you'll know exactly when to have the conversation as well.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Well, there you have it. There you have it. Thank you so much for joining, Kandi and Jessie. It has been an absolute pleasure. We learned so much. I mean, the advice and the tips. As I said earlier, I'm sure a lot of our viewers will be able to connect. And I'm so happy you decided to come and join us this afternoon and to share
so much, Andrea.
all the very best in your endeavors.
Likewise.
kiss the baby for us.
Oh, we
for us,
will.
And I'm really hoping that we can see pictures.
Definitely.
And congratulations again, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank
and
you.
remember now, I'll see you in another couple of days at Scotiabank.
Absolutely.
Have a great one.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
To our viewers, thank you so much for joining. Have a great evening.
Bye.